Table saw blade and fence alignment is critical to making nice cuts. Now, since I've had my new extrusion, I aligned it up to my miter slot and I assumed that everything else was in parallel. But I just saw a video, and it's a great tip, and I don't know that you know, maybe somebody of you guys haven't seen this, but I think it's worth repeating. And it's a video, and it was done in just you know, 240 resolution, where this one will be done in HD. So I think this is why it's worth repeating, just because of the higher clarity of the video. So you can see there, I've got an 18-inch ruler made by Starrett, along with a couple of rare earth magnets here, and I'm not making any assumptions at all about everything being straight and true. So I'm going to take measurements on these magnets to make sure that they're the same thickness. And this one measures 0.1185. There it is, 0.1185. Okay, so let's throw the other one in here and get it off of there. There we go. And this one measures 0.11, right there, 0.1185. So I've got two magnets. They're the exact same thickness. All right. Well, now the other thing I don't want to assume is that is that this ruler is perfectly parallel as well. So I'm going to measure it at 3 spots, the ends and the middle, to see what kind of measurements I get here. So on the end, I hope you can see this. You're going to have to look sideways, but that's 0.988. In the middle, 0.989. On the end, 0.980. I'm going to try the middle again one more time here, because the last time I measured it, yeah, it is 9. It just depends upon where you have that caliper set. So it is 9880. Okay. So I'm going to take this ruler now. I'm going to go to my table saw and show you this setup on how I'm going to check that my blade is parallel to my miter slot, and I think it's just brilliant what this guy came up with. So let me change my camera setup here, and we'll be right back. Okay, this is the part that I differ with what the part that I do is different from what he did in his video. I've got, and I think this is a critical thing too, is use your favorite saw blade, or the one that you're using, you know, most of the time, I guess. And for me, it's this Forrest blade right here. Now, the one thing I do have off of there is I've taken off the stabilizer, just because that gives you more room. So you're going to raise the blade all the way up. Okay. Put my insert back in there, and now here's what I'm doing that's different. He had his magnets on a piece of tape so that he could take them off easier. I'm not doing that, but what I am doing is I'm taking these magnets and I'm placing them on the using this spacer board to keep them off the table, saw a little bit, but also to keep them parallel to the top. Okay, so I'm just going to put one near the front here and one near the back. Okay, and they're not touching the teeth, and they're as far forward and as far back as I can get them. Now, that keeps the magnets parallel. Then this spacer, let me show you the difference here. It's smaller so that it fits between the magnets, but it's a bit thicker so that it brings my ruler up to about the midpoint of the magnets. And then this will also keep my ruler parallel to the table. So I'm going to eyeball that for center. This is an 18-inch ruler, so 9 inches is the midpoint here. And you can see how quickly that wants to go. Okay, so now I know that and when I push down on that, I know that I'm parallel to the table, and now I'm also parallel with the blade. So I'm good there. Next thing I do is I bring in my dial indicator here, and I get this thing set up, and I need my wrench. Back that off and get it close here so that this rounded point is riding about in the middle of that blade. I'm just going to eyeball that from down below here, and that looks good. And now I can set this to 0. I'm going to bring it up near the end. Put my indicator to 0. Right there. And now I'm going to go and measure the middle. I'm at about 1.5, and then I'm coming down as far as I can to the end here, and I'm at about 2 thousandths. Let's see, that's 2 thousandths away. Let me do this one more time. 0. Make sure I'm riding in the middle. And I'm going to put that down just a little bit. There, okay. 0. 1.5. And I'm going to call that 0. 1.5. 0. So I don't know if I've got this little bit of deflection here, possibly, from the spring action. I think it could be. It looks like it is. So I'm going to say that's 0. And I'm not quite to the end here. Let's go 1.5 inches. And let's go 1.5 inches. Yeah, I got to reset this. It is deflecting a little bit from the spring pressure of this indicator because I've got it pulled back so far. I'm going to call that 0. 1.5 inches from the end. And that is within 0.5 thousandths of 0. And that's 1 thousandths over. So I've never been this accurate before. So I'm happy that I can honestly say that my miter gauge slot is perfectly parallel with this blade now. There you have it. And if I run it along, You can see how little movement I have there. So now I know, or I've proved to myself that this is parallel. Now if this wasn't parallel, and I did this, I readjusted this when I did my table saw rebuild, extension table rebuild. If this wasn't parallel, I have to go in here and loosen the trunnion nuts and adjust my top, but I don't have to do that. But if your table was not parallel, or the slot wasn't parallel with your blade, you'd have to do that. So now I can take this slot, I'm going to use the same slot, and check my fence. So let me reset that up. First of all, I'm going to get this off of here. And pull these off carefully. Take them right out the space between the teeth. Just slide them out. And they've got some. Put them up here. Those things have got some power. Now I'm going to drop the blade and slide my fence over. I'm not going to change my indicator. The only thing I'm going to change is where it contacts my fence. So let me make that change here. 1 second. Okay, I'm going to try and show this to you in a couple of different shots, but this is as far back as I can take this and take a measurement off of my fence. Now this is located on the bottom, I don't know, bottom 15% of my fence. It's not in the middle because most of my work is done referencing off of this bottom edge, you know, or the bottom part here. I rarely am I registering work up here. So this is why I want to measure right down here where I'm going to use this most of the time. So I've got my indicator set to 0. You can see that. Now I'm going to slide it back to the back. I guess I could take it to the middle as well. Now I'm going to move the camera to the middle so you can see that. Okay, I'm still at 0. And now I'm going to take it to the back. And hopefully you can see that. And I'm at, looks like 2/1000ths this way. The fence is 2/1000ths away from the blade. I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. I had originally thought when I was doing another video that my fence was about 5 to 6/1000ths out this direction, which I was fine with too. But it's even better than I thought. It's only 2, and that's for me is fantastic. So let me show you what I've got here. I'm going to shoot this from a different angle so you can see where I'm registering on this fence. Hang on. There. So now you can tell or see when I was talking about the bottom portion of my fence. I'm on this face right here. I'm not up here. I mean, I could be if I wanted to be right in the middle. I could do that. But I'm down here because this is where most of my work is going to register off of this portion right here. So that's 0. Then when I slide it down here, hope you can still see this. There we go. I'm at about maybe, that's where I'm probably just starting to get into the blade. I'm maybe a 0.5 over. And as I continue down, I go to 2/1000ths. 2/1000ths canted out in that direction. That's fine by me right there. And when I bring it back, boom, 0. Okay, so just a little quick video on how I set up my table saw fence for alignment to the blade to the slot, and then the fence to the miter slot. And so then, you know, logic tells you that this is now lined up with the blade as perfectly as you can do it. So, thanks for watching.